మా అందరి అభిరుచులకి ఏకైక ఎంపిక మానేపల్లి జ్యువెలర్స్. తరతరాలుగా తరగని స్వర్ణ బంధాలు మన మానేపల్లి జ్యువెలర్స్.
डी पुरंदेश्वरी जी.
It has been given to me to participate in this very sensitive piece of legislation that has been brought in by the Honorable Union Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman ji. I would also like to voice my appreciation towards the sensitivity with which this piece of legislation has been brought in, which the Honorable Finance Minister has just very eloquently outlined. Sir, we all know for a fact that tobacco addiction is a major problem in our country today. And estimates say that about 1.35 million deaths occur annually in our country due to cancer, heart-related diseases or COPD. And COPD would mean diseases that are related to lungs. So the issue is very serious because around 29% of the population, that is 267 million adults, and many more adolescents are actually in a way habituated or are addicted to tobacco and related products. So the challenge is not simply the smokeless tobacco, which actually gives rise to incidences of oral cancer, but also the addictive nature of the tobacco products as well as the marketing tactics which are undertaken by various other sections of our society. So usage of tobacco is amongst both men and women, where about 42.14% men and 14.2% women are estimated to be addicted to tobacco. And surprisingly, the very same survey also says that about 8.5% of our children between the ages of 13 to 15 are also today addicted to tobacco and the related products like pan masala and so on. So tobacco, therefore, is becoming a major cause of death as well as disability in our country, which is something that we all need to take cognizance of. The issue does not simply stop with people who are smoking tobacco-related items like cigarettes and tobaccos and so on, but it also raises the concern of the passive smokers, and it is estimated that around 30.2% of our population are passive smokers, and this is also negatively impacting the health of that section of society. And when I say passive smokers, these are people who are inhaling the smoke that is let out by people who are smoking cigarettes and tobacco and so on. So India today is said to be the second largest consumer of tobacco and accounts for almost 1/6 of the world's tobacco-related deaths. So this simply speaks of the magnitude of the issue that we have in our country today. Today, India's disease burden, sir, is no more characterized by communicable diseases, but is rather today being characterized by non-communicable diseases like heart-related problems, cancers, lung-related problems, and so on. Sir, this only highlights the fact that we need to bring in a change not only in our lifestyles but also the habit, which would mean indulging in hazardous substances like what we have been talking about. So as per the study, cancer and cardiovascular related diseases, they top the list of NCD, that is a non-communicable disease list, and tobacco is also considered to be one of the largest contributors to the burden of non-communicable diseases. India today, sir, accounts for 17% of the world's population, but when it comes to the disease burden, it accounts for 20% of the world disease problems, sir. So this is not a small number that we are looking at. And the non-communicable disease burden, which was around 55% in 2016, is now about 60% deaths because of non-communicable diseases in 2019. So India is a welfare state which is committed to the welfare and well-being of its citizens. And the Narendra Modi ji government is also committed to the same, and having been committed to the same has taken the decisive step of imposing the GST on health hazardous substances like tobacco and pan products and so on. This, sir, is intended to actually discourage people from, sir, this increase is intended to discourage the use of dangerous substances and also simultaneously to generate revenues that would actually be spent on social and health sectors, which is very, very important. As I had mentioned, our commitment to the well-being and welfare of the citizens of our country. Today, sir, even as we are phasing out the GST compensation cess, as has been rightly mentioned by our Honorable Finance Minister, Union Finance Minister, we must ensure that the prices do not plummet on these tobacco and related substances to such an extent that they become easily accessible to people, even as we are speaking about how do we discourage them from using such hazardous substances. Therefore, sir, this measure that has been undertaken today, it corresponds, it would maintain the price stability, it would protect the vulnerable and the youth sections of our society, and would also act as a deterrent because the prices would not plummet to the extent that we actually fear they would. Sir, even as the government today, as I had mentioned earlier, being a welfare government, seeks to provide food security for the poor through the free ration program that we have undertaken today, where we are providing free ration to about 80 crore poor people, and also to improve the living standards of the middle class, wherein we have actually lowered the tax burden and so on. And we must ensure, sir, that every rupee that is being now collected on this GST is actually expended towards these kind of measures, which could be now further expanded. Sir, with focus on the health sector, the central government today has been able to increase the number of AIIMS in our country from the existing 7 in 2014 to 23 today. Medical colleges have doubled from 387 in 2014 to 808 today. And above all, we have one of the largest health insurance scheme in our country in the form of Ayushman Bharat, which provides health security to about 9 crore people who have already availed the Ayushman Bharat, and the central government has expended 1.3 lakh crores on this program. Therefore, sir, every rupee or penny that would be now collected on the GST, we are assured will be expended on such welfare schemes, keeping the welfare and progress of the people, of the citizens of our country in mind. Sir, the concern here amongst the states is that would it actually affect our revenues? Sir, this we must realize would not affect the state revenues, because the 42% share of the central tax devolutions that should go to the state, as has been recommended by the 15th Finance Commission, would stand as it is. And it has already been outlined by the Honorable Finance Minister that this GST compensation removal was actually a time-bound initiative that was brought in, and it was agreed upon by all the states. So it is not a coercive decision that is being taken by the central government today. So the only concern here would be the farmers who are indulging in growing of tobacco. In our country today, sir, we have 6 million farmers who are dependent on tobacco crop. And we have 20 million laborers who are dependent on this crop. And and above this, we have about 36 million people who are indulging in processing or exports and so on and so forth. So I would only like to appeal, sir, through you to the Honorable Union Minister for Finance, that along with the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and also with Agriculture, to ensure that the security of these farmers are kept intact, and the issues relating to them would be taken into mind, keeping the fact in mind that the farmers are not averse to any decision that the government would take that is related to the health of the country, but rather they would definitely seek support from the central government when it comes to crop diversification. There was once upon a time the initiative that was taken to diversify farmers who were indulgent in tobacco growth, and about, I'm subject to correction, around 110,000 and odd hectares acres have actually, farmers have actually diversified about 1,10,000 and odd acres of land to various other crops. But however, I think the other 6 million farmers that I'm talking about today, the interest of these farmers need to protect it is a strong appeal and prayer that I have to the Honorable Minister, sir. Therefore, sir, having gone into every minute details, we must realize that this calibrated tax adjustment fiscal step, this is to ensure that we have a more healthier and a more productive, because today, when we talk of the youth, the young population in the world, India out of 65% of India's population is under 35 years of age. And when we say they are under 35 years of age, we're actually talking about a large pool of human resource who can actually become very productive for our country. Therefore, sir, this is to ensure that we have a healthier and a more productive human resource pool who would help us in realizing that the dream that we have before us, and that is to achieve a Viksit Bharat by 2047. Thank you, sir.